Rule 19 is when they haven't, but it's still pending. And under those two circumstances, a person who has an existing dispensary in those things, they set forth the rules for them to continue operating at this point. So it requires that the existing dispensary or provisioning center is operating under local approval. So if they have that, and they have already approved an opt-in ordinance, then all they need is a temporary approval from this municipality that they can continue operating. And they can get that, the local township can give that authority to the township clerk, so the clerk could sign something, and then they can continue operating as long as they put in their application by February 15th of 2018. The other situation is pretty similar, and that is where they are operating under a local ordinance, but their township or municipality has not opted in, but it's pending. In other words, the township has not said we're not going to opt in, we're refusing that, but we just haven't decided yet. Under that situation, they can continue to operate if they've been operating under a local ordinance. But they need the township's approval, and they don't have that provision there for the clerk to give it, but they say that they can continue operating as long as they have that approval. And there again, they have to have their own application in by February 15th, or this temporary emergency rules and allowance to keep their dispensaries open ceases. And again, that's found on page 12. It's Rule 19.
And I think people need to understand the gravity of what Alan just said, because there are people that are either facing or have faced very serious felony charges for doing what is now considered to be lawful. Would you say that's fair, Alan?
Yes, and I think it's outrageous that people have been prosecuted. I was ranting last week about Mr. Hartwick, where his violation of the medical marijuana law was on his plant count. And it was either 76 according to the lab or 78 according to the lying detectives. One of them certainly was a known liar, Mark Ferguson. But that was his offense because his usable marijuana was like 3.5 ounces, and he was allowed to have 15 ounces. And they persecuted this guy. It was pending in the court for 5 years while he fought it, and the courts made more mistakes than he did. But he was the one that ended up getting 2 years in prison for it, and it's just ridiculous that they're wasting these times. Lawyers aren't supposed to bring frivolous cases in court. It's one of the rules we have in the rules of ethics. But I think that the way they're persecuting people like Mr. Hartwick, and there's many, many others, Don Kushminer for another one, is it fits in that category, that it's just really stupid and frivolous. There's no complainant. The complainant is the police officer. It's not like somebody in society said, this person harmed me. There's no victim. But they persecute him, and it's a lot of the reason is also financial, is the money they get off it. And that's why Dana Nessel, who is so repulsed by this, who thinks that we should be going after other problems like environmental issues. We have a lot of people in Michigan who are living with contaminated water supplies, where some company had dumped chemicals in a manufacturing process, and now their whole water table has various compounds that make it unsafe to drink, and they have to have their own distillation unit for drinking water in their house where they never had to. And this is the type of thing that she thinks is more serious. There's one example, and I sure hope we get her as our next Attorney General. But remember, everybody needs to be at Cobo Hall April 15th to nominate her, and first you have to be a member of the Democratic Party. So please register either at the Democratic Party's website or at Dana Nessel's website. And does anybody remember that website name, by the way? The address?
www.dana2018.com.
Yeah, but you don't need the www.
You don't need it. I mean, I would include it just for fun.
Jim's old school.
I'm as old school as they come. Yeah. But, if you want to drop it, I think that would be fine.
So Dana2018.com is all they need to know.
Right, and I'm actually just trying.
And there is
Go ahead.
a marijuana leaf right on the front page.
But you shouldn't take Chad's word. You should check it out.
You should check it out. You
Yeah.
should. You
And
should
you
go
should
there
take
and
Chad's
see
word.
it.
And
It's different than you normally see on an attorney general's campaign website.
it is, and I think she's just different in a whole lot of ways. I've queued up her latest.
She's a real enemy
campaign
of Bill
ad.
Schuette on a lot of
She
different
is.
issues.
I'm going to
I
play
think she'll fuck with
her
him.
latest campaign ad. It's got a lot of people buzzing. It's got national attention, and I think it's really brought her to the forefront as a serious candidate. But let's see what everybody thinks.
If the last few weeks has taught us anything, it's that we need more women in positions of power, not less. So, when you're choosing Michigan's next Attorney General, ask yourself this. Who can you trust most not to show you their penis in a professional setting? Is it the candidate who doesn't have a penis? I'd say so. Some people will tell you I can't be the Democratic nominee for Attorney General here in Michigan because we can't have an all-female ticket for statewide office in 2018. Pundits and insiders are asking, can we afford to have a female governor, a female Attorney General, and a female Secretary of State? Well, I read the news, and I bet you do too. And it has me wondering, can we afford not to? Now, if you want to know more about what I'll do as Michigan Attorney General, head to dana2018.com. But right now, I want to tell you what you can expect me not to do. I will not sexually harass my staff, and I won't tolerate it in your workplace either. I won't walk around in a half-open bathrobe, and I'll continue to take all sex crimes seriously, just like I did as a prosecutor. You won't find me using your hard-earned tax dollars to silence victims or join right-wing lawsuits that make it harder for you to get health insurance.
Like Bill
I'll be too
Schuette.
busy doing what I've always done, going to bat for the people who need it most and winning. Yes, I'm a woman. That's not a liability. That's an asset. I'm Dana Nessel. I approve of putting more women on the ticket in November, and I approve this message.
Yay! Let's hear it for Dana.
That was
great. No, she's
pretty
awesome.
ballsy.
That was
No pun intended.
It was pretty epic.
A little reminiscent of a
What
little
do you think
Lisa
about that,
Brown.
Michael?
The first time I've heard a candidate use the word penis.
It's national press on that one.
It's on Jimmy Kimmel, I think.
Everybody, each of them, everybody talked about her.
This is great.
I think that it brings to attention the real major issue, which is that the actual real life, behind the scenes, Democratic Party bullshit politics is that the Democrats can't field all women. It's literally that. And I think it's a great campaign to bring attention to that.
That's all they've got.
I'll tell you,
She's
No,
got a race,
She
and
says,
it's at the convention.
I heard her. She was on
and
the.
that's what she's got to beat, is that idiotic
no, she's being interviewed,
party politics.
She's interviewed at the Lansing, one of the Lansing stations, and she said, "You know, it's really shocking. It's not that anyone's criticizing me because I'm the first lesbian attorney general candidate. It's that they don't want 3 women on the ticket.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Like, oh my
And
God.
that's actually happening
Women will run the
in
state.
the Democratic Party. It's ridiculous.
It's
These are the candidates that the Democratic Party needs right now. Patrick Miles is a brownie hound.
I mean, you've got to look at the opportunity
Just a-
here. I mean, the
I'm telling you, if there was a reason to vote for Dana, it would be on her record alone. But if there was ever a reason to pick someone else up and carry them to the convention with you, it's this Miles guy
Miles.
right here.
He is
the early
horrible.
phases of his ability to reveal himself, he drops into. I even got rid of all my notes because I thought we were done with it, but someone started talking about it again. But just the ear thing, the corner of the ear.
Just
the-
one ear,
he
Michael.
Just
an
the
overdose,
ear.
an
If you
overdose.
take just the ear off the bear
the
and
ear.
eat just that,
It'll get you
it will
so
get a grown
man high.
adult man high.
So we could share one.
And if you eat more than that, that's when you get
when you
into the
overdose.
overdosing. This is the shit that he's going with. He's
Michael.
just a,
This is what he says. The
He's a
DEA
moron.
The DEA has been slow to go forward with medical marijuana. What is that statement? The DEA has disproved it over and over again. They keep getting sued for it. They have a patent proclaiming it having medicinal value. But you know what? Who cares? He should say they're wrong. There are 250,000 people in the state of Michigan who are involved in a program where 3.3 million people in the state of Michigan declared that marijuana is medicine. So the federal government's wrong, and I agree with the people of the state of Michigan. And obviously,
Even though my record as a prosecutor doesn't show it.
well, you couldn't say that, obviously, but
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know.
One ear.
He's
One ear.
he's somebody that really
He probably gets drunk
You
off
wanna
like a sip of a fuzzy navel
stop
at the cocktail
him.
party.
Yeah, he is.
That's really what it comes down to.
Maybe
You want to
he-
stop him from being a candidate.
Maybe he just has a really
Because he'll
low
ruin
tolerance.
everything.
Maybe
He's going to lose. He's as a loser. He will lose really badly too. And I think that's classic Democratic Party politics too, is to
Yes.
lose.
Yep.
And
State houses too.
if any
Federal. State,
if there's any
every-
candidate that could underperform the ticket worse than Mark Totten, who we supported, it's Patrick Miles. He will be terrible. He will split the Democratic vote. It literally, the Republican candidate's better than he is.
Much better. It's not even.
If he
by a
becomes
little
the
bit.
candidate, I'll vote Republican. That's all there is to it.
Do you think there's a video somewhere of Obama crossing him over on the basketball court? Maybe. The post.
Well, if past policy elections have been accurate, people like the candidate who has strong policy and stands up for him or herself.
That's
They
not
don't.
him.
They don't like a weak, little Marco. Right? Ted Cruz.
Patrick Miles is the weakest candidate I
He
have
really
ever. That performance on Off the Record was mealy mouthed, disgusting.
He
shit.
got
It should've
called
been
out
kept
by
off the
Tim
record.
Skubic.
But yet he's the party darling. So that's
I don't know
what,
that we have
this
to
is what we
unwind.
have this is what we have to combat. So if everybody has to get exactly what Dana said. Everybody has to register. If you're not like a Democrat, it doesn't matter. Register and let's go in. It's not like this hasn't been done before. And we all go in and we vote and we make sure she's the candidate. She'll win.
I
And
heard
we
Kamorn
campaign
Law.
for her
I heard
during
Kamorn
it,
Law
too.
was throwing a convention party.
Are
Pre-game.
they?
That's what I heard.
Pre-party.
Riverfront.
what I heard.
Listen,
Riverfront
I was
Campaign
trying
Party?
to interject into the conversation with her, which
River dancing.
maybe
Right.
hasn't fully been digested, but I think she'll think about it maybe, and just how awful it is that he's out there lying and that's just unacceptable. This is the type of politics that we should be calling out because it's just especially on this particular issue. But let's think about we can all speculate why somebody lies, but here we have this guy blatantly speaking about things that we know aren't true. So I was suggesting, why would he lie? If he could, why does he not think that he could be honest? You know what I mean? Like if he said, yes, I prosecuted Forsman and,
I feel like
See,
he's one of those people though who doesn't have his own ground to stand
Yeah,
on.
or people who just say they lie and they feel if
He's
they
trying-
say it,
he's
if they say
trying
it
so
enough,
hard to-
people will believe it.
He's trying so hard to fit in.
Yeah,
and,
so-
and he doesn't understand what fitting it is, so he's picking
Well-
the most narrow, and it's gotten him to this point. Like this is how he got appointed by Obama.
But that's what Trump does too. Trump lies, and he just this is fact, and it's lies.
But this is more like mainstream political party lying versus Trump, outlandish, taking it to the extremes. Which
Yeah, this
people-
is just saying different things to different groups of people.
this is just
what he's
avoiding
engaging in.
questions.
well,
It's called
the point
campaigning.
I'm asking about is he obviously thinks if he is honest, it's the wrong thing to say. You know what I mean? He obviously knows that where he stands, and as he speaks to those people, he is in the wrong position. He's on the other side of the issue.
Not
Otherwise,
just that, he knows that it will affect his positioning politically. He can't say the right thing. If he says one way, he's trying to ride the
Let's
fence.
just call it what it is, okay?
And
You've got
you can't do that by being evasive,
Well,
really.
He's a non-experienced politician who thought he was going to just walk
listen to
through
me.
this.
Let me say this. Even if we didn't know about Forsberg